You know what they say when it comes to loans? Always read the terms and conditions. I'm not just talking about monetary loans, I'm also talking about footballing loans. Rule number 1, never fall in love with a loan player. Mainly because they'll break your heart at some point, yes. The thing we were talking about not happening on last week's podcast happened. Sometimes I'll hold my hands up and say, fair play. Jamie McDonnell has returned to Nottingham Forest and has since made a move to Oxford United in the Championship, breaking all of our hearts. But as one loanee departs, another steps forward onto the stage to say, hey, look at me, love me, worship me! That man, Oliver Irow, who had one of the best debuts I've ever seen as the Stags beat Port Vale by 3-0 on the eve of my birthday. Tonight we'll discuss all of that. We'll talk about loan players and whether or not we should get too attached this early to Oliver Irow. Look at whether or not we can plug the McDonnell-shaped gap and look ahead to 2 big games as the Stags head to Stevenage and then Plymouth. All right, I'll hold my hands up and I'll say that obviously the rumours which were swirling around last week surrounding Jamie McDonnell ended up being true. However, I will back this up by saying at the time of broadcast, there was no substantial evidence to support those rumours unless those people sharing them had information on the inside which they didn't share in the chat, which is why I was dishing out yellow card after yellow card after yellow card. And be warned, there'll be more yellow cards tonight if we get transfer rumours without substantial fact. We don't need to rile Craig, do we, on this Thursday night? Hello, good evening and welcome to the Mansfield Matters Podcast. It's the show for the fans, by the fans. Why? Well, because Mansfield always matters, even when you do lose your best player who was on loan. Lots to talk about tonight. We'll talk about plugging that Jamie McDonnell style gap, and we'll talk about the new man who has taken the loanee affections as well, and everything else in between. Joining me to do that, I've assembled a crack squad of Mansfield Town supporting legends. Let's say hello, good evening, and welcome to the man who got to shout a new name, not once, but twice on Saturday afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Alan Wilson, goal scorer for the Stags, Mansfield Town's number 44, Oliver Roosevelt.
Good evening, Craig. Good evening, everybody.
Good to see you, as always. And a man who, on Tuesday evening, will be one of the 425 brave souls making the long trip down to Plymouth. It's Clive Park. Good evening, Clive.
How do you do, Craig? Hello, everybody.
And completing our trio of panelists tonight, we've got the man who is giving up watching football because his Saturday afternoons are going to be too busy, spent at Super Bowl, absolutely cleaning up. It's the Neil Warnock of the Mansfield Matters podcast. You know the story about Neil Warnock sweeping up all the bowling stuff. It's Jim, the Bowler Evans. Evening, Jim.
Evening, Craig. Evening, everybody. Hope everybody's well.
Good to see you, as always. As ever, if you want to get involved with the show, get involved in the live feed comments down there somewhere under there, in there. Type away and let us know your thoughts on all things Mansfield Town. Well, I guess, Clive, we should start with the news which we got immediately after Saturday's victory at home to Port Vale. And that is, of course, that's those rumours, and they were rumours at the time, were indeed true. Jamie McDonnell recalled to Nottingham Forest, and then on Sunday, he turned up in Oxford.
Yeah, the rumours were very well founded, weren't they? And they were enshrined in logic. It was going to happen at some point. It's always going to be disappointing when you lose a season-long loanee halfway through the season, especially if they're having a good season, which he was. But that's the price you pay. I mean, you've no control over that. The host club arranges the loan as as much as a favour as anything. But the important thing is to develop the player. And we've done our little bit. And I'm sure Oxford will do their bit. And I think in a few years' time, you'll see him playing at the highest level. And we'll take some credit for that.
It's a very frustrating situation to find ourselves in, Jim, because I think we all knew it in the back of our mind, didn't we, that something like that could happen. But I think any other club, it's not a slight on Oxford by any sense of the imagination. I just think they could have been a better club for him because he's in real danger of being back in League One next season. And I think Forest really, have potentially shot themselves in the foot as well, because I think had he seen the rest of the season out here or even been recalled and then sent on loan to a Championship club, his value would have been way higher than what the rumoured figure is. But either way, we're left without a player and arguably one of the top two players that's performed for us this season.
Yeah, I'm sure Jamie McDonnell's done quite nicely out of the deal. Although they're in the relegation zone, I should think he's got a nice handsome pay packet out of the whole thing. I mean, as regards Forest have got quite a big squad anyway, haven't they? I think they've got quite a few players in that position. So it might be just a case of is just Forest at the wrong spot for him right now. But yeah, I think as far as we're concerned, I think it is. He's been one of our most effective players, hasn't he, with the goalkeeper? And I know Clough's playing it down, as he's right to do so. You don't want to come across desperate in the transfer window, but he'll want to fill that position, no doubt, in the squad, and I'm sure we will. I think there'll be someone coming in, even if it's on loan. But the silver lining is, I think he is replaceable, that kind of player. Despite what Clough says, I think you can get players who can do that job without too much problem. Whether they'll be as good or not is another question, but he's replaceable.
Yeah, the quality is definitely the question, Alan, for me. I think most people are quite frustrated with the situation. I know you'll put a positive spin on it, but there must be a little bit of an annoyance deep down somewhere, just a teensy tiny bit that, a season-long loan has not been sort of adhered to and the player's been sold on rather than honouring that agreement. The T's and C's, if you like.
Yeah, but I'm going to say, but we're not privy to what went off or, what did go off. There might be something that we have no idea about why he went to Oxford, because it just seems a bit strange to go there. I know they're in the Championship, but next at bottom, they don't look a brilliant side to me. But obviously, for whatever reason, he wanted to go. Fair enough. But and the positive point is, we can get somebody to step up, if that makes sense. Either in the squad or get somebody else, on loan again if there's anybody else out there. I mean, they found McDonnell, didn't they? So who knows if they can't find somebody else like they found Irow.
It's a frustrating one for me, Jim, because I don't think we'll get anybody of that quality. Like Nigel Clough says, he's one of a kind, and someone of that ilk will probably come with a bit of a hefty price tag and all of that sort of thing as well. But I feel we are now lacking in defensive midfield options. Listening and reading between the lines of Nigel Clough, as we often do, he was rattling through the players and he was saying, the likes of John Russell and things like that, Regan Hendry, he sees them as attack-minded midfielders, and the only real defensive midfield options we've got now are Aaron Lewis to step into that role, and I'll come on to him a little bit more in some depth later, and then George Maris when he comes back injured. But even then, Nigel Clough was like, Maris prefers to play in the attacking position. So there's only really Lewis Reed and Aaron Lewis as your defensive midfield options. We need to plug that gap, surely.
Yeah, we will do. I mean, he did say, to be fair, that Forest did say right from the outset that they might take him back. So I think this was always on the table, even though it was a season-long loan per se. But between the lines of what he said, there's no doubt someone will come in. And he basically said the funds and resources are there as well, isn't he? So someone will come in. I mean, he's a loss, but there's other players out there, as I say, who can do it. There was harder players to replace. People like DKD, he's been really hard to replace, I think. And you just move on. Players come and go. You just have got to move on. Whoever it is.
Yeah, that's true. Clive, on that though, with the shortage of defensive midfielders, what did you make of Aaron Lewis? Because I think Aaron Lewis is a fantastic player for us on his day. I do think a little bit sometimes he's potentially struggles to meet the pace of League One matches from the off. It takes him a little bit of time to warm up. And I think one of those examples was perhaps on Saturday against Port Vale, where we looked really poor in the five at the back. And, Aaron Lewis was one of those who was getting dragged left, right and centre and causing other players to be dragged out of position too.
Yes, I think if we recruit somebody, and I think Jim's right, Clough seems determined to get someone in, his position's weakened. I think he's had a decent season by his own standards, and certainly he had a spell where he couldn't do much wrong. But you're right, he didn't look on the pace against Port Vale, especially. Well, none of them did in the first half, to be fair. When Clough changed the shape a little bit, he was better, and it does worry me slightly because Reid needs a partner, and have we got the right partner in Lewis? I'm not sure. I'm not even sure that McDonnell was the right partner. I think McDonnell was a unique character in that he was a very old-fashioned defensive midfielder, and I think Clough's point is there aren't many people like that now because they want to play more flamboyant midfield roles, and he seemed to me rather content to do the sensible thing 99 times out of 100, which is good. So presumably that's what Oxford have seen in him, and others presumably have also seen in him, and then that's something we're going to have to try and manage without for the short term. But we played without him before. We'll play without him now. He's gone. We have no choice. We just move on. And if there have to be some rejigging. I mean, I remember back when we first got older, Dave. We said Dave hankering to play in front of the back four. In other words, a defensive midfield role. Are we getting to the point where we might be able to do that with the recovery of the defenders?
Yeah, it's a valid point, to be fair, and one which Mark also makes in the comments. Keep them coming in. Mark says we could sign a centre-back and play. I don't know who this Deji fella is, though, in a CDM. I think he's referring to Dave. He's played there a lot in the past. Keep your comments coming in. We'll talk a little bit more about the game in just a second as well. Final thoughts on McDonnell. Some fella called Cam's been in touch. Says, good evening, or should I say, and then he's written something in German. No, not staying for long as we're still racing in Germany. So you're playing with your toy cars, are you? Okay, mate. But had to drop in. Disappointing with McDonnell going, but football is football sometimes, and wish him well. Would be hard to replace him, but once we have players fully fit, then we might not need him anyway. We'll never truly replace Jamie. He's one of a kind, says Thomas. And also, Chris says, spoke to a player on Sunday, says other players were surprised McDonnell has gone. But he has indeed gone, and we do move on, Alan. We wish him all the best. And what is it they say with lone players? Never fall in love with them. And also, don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened.
Yeah, I'm going to say we've certainly had the best of him. And good luck to the lad. It's like somebody said in the comments, he's gone on quite a long contract. So, he's got to look after himself and his family. I don't know whether he's married or anything like that, but good luck to the lad. And if we do see him again, it'll be nice to see him.
Ray Oxford ago, and probably see him next season in League One. Anyway, moving on, got a wry smile from Jim. There you go. He enjoyed that little footballing dig. Jim, talking of footballing digs, Nigel Clough had to dig us out of the SH1T on Saturday because it was dreadful in the first half. Playing with that back five sometimes does you really well, but other times when you don't get your positioning right or you get dragged out of position, you can struggle to get on the ball. He switches it at half-time, makes a couple of changes, goes to a 4-2-3-1, and oh my goodness, we look good in it. We're getting the ball on the deck, and then, Oliver Irow delivers one of the best debuts we've ever seen. But before we talk about Irow, we had to make that change. In fact, I overheard you having a little bit of an argument at half-time on Saturday about the system and the shape.
It wasn't half-time. It was about half an hour in. Yeah, but you say Clough dug us out. I think Port Vale's bad finishing, and our goalkeeper dug him out of the shit, to be honest with you. You could see very quickly that Port Vale were just doing us far too easily down our right-hand side, and pretty much I was having flashbacks to Wembley almost. It was, even though I know we played a different system at Wembley, but all it needed was to switch to a back four. We didn't have to make any substitutions, just switch to a back four and perhaps even just two banks of four, and it would have stopped their threat. I would have got us higher up the pitch. And it was so obvious to me. And he just waited and waited and waited. I can appreciate managers don't want to make subs before half time because you can ruin a player, confidence wise. But that change had to happen before half time for me. And lo and behold, we switched at half time and we ripped them to ribbons in the second half. But we were lucky. We were lucky. We should have been 2-0 down at half time. And he's got to be more. I don't know what the word is, but to me it was just a bit of stubbornness, which won't serve him. And the goalkeeper thing was strange. Not having a substitute goalkeeper was, for what he called was the biggest game of the season. To me, that could have blown right up in his face. I mean,
I'll say we'll come on to the goalkeeping situation a little bit later on. But Clive, let's continue to look at Port Vale, shall we, for a second? And a lot of people are mentioning him in the comments. Well, and it's not Oliver Irow, it's John Russell. We saw a glimpse of him at Sheffield United in the Cup. We got a much longer look at him on Saturday against Port Vale, playing in the 10 role just behind the striker. And again, we were saying weeks ago that we'd struggled to find a player to fit in that gap with Regan Hendry injured and Tyler Roberts out injured. Well, John Russell's just put his name right at the front of the queue, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he's a quality player. He's got he fits Mansfield's bill really well because he's prone to injury, but he certainly adds quality to that section of the field that we've not had since DKD moved on. He has a talent to be able to connect and keep a ball, which everybody else in the team seems to struggle with at the moment. In fact, the only person that can really take a well-driven pass and control it normally is Lucas Aikins, but he's not playing anything in the same position. So I think he adds something. I think all three January acquisitions so far add quality to the squad. And certainly Irow surprised me in a pleasant way. Just hang on a minute, the dogs are unplugged me.
I'll go to Alan. Alan, let's talk Irow then, because that was probably one of the best debuts that I've ever seen. Do you need me to I'll just drop Clive out for a second so he can sort his cable issue out. Then it was one of the best debuts that we've seen, isn't it, Alan?
It just oozed confidence. You could see that when he came on. He wasn't frightened to take a player on. He made the right pass when it needed to make the right pass. And when he needed to take one on and skip to the byline, there didn't seem to be a problem. And I thought he gelled well with Russell, because Russell, the one who's feeding him a lot of the time. He did all right with Macca as well down the left-hand side. And like Nigel said in his interview, playing on that left, he can cut in if he needs to and when he needs to. Boy, did he cut in for his second goal. But even the first one, he was there where nobody else normally isn't. Will Evans sometimes can't quite get there, either pace or whatever. But it was at the right place in the right time. And like I say, the only reason that he didn't have a worldie of as he played, because he didn't get a hat trick. It's just a shame that. But what a player! He looked outstanding.
The problem is, Jim, he's done a Mansfield debut, though, hasn't he? Because how many times have we seen players come in and have an absolutely storming debut and then, dropped right off the face of the earth? Caelan Vickers came in last season, had a fairly decent start. Max Dickoff this year, a few more down the years as well. He's set the bar ridiculously high. He's going to need a pogo stick to reach it.
Yeah, I think that's a young player thing, isn't it? The adrenaline's pumping hard. I think you'll find he'll have a good first sort of 10 games and then he might drop off a bit. I think that's very typical amongst young players. But what you could see is the ability and the talent's clearly there. He's clearly got something, hasn't he? His ability to shoot and find the net and be in the right place. He's obviously, and he's tidy as well with his footwork, and he's obviously got something. I mean, like Clive said, you're pleasantly surprised. We weren't really expecting a lot from him. He was just adding to the squad. So if he contributes anything at all, it's a bit of a bonus. So, but yeah, as I say, he's just one of them surprising gems that we've got on loan. But he's sort of repaid his loan fee already, because he's helped get us 3 points in one game. That'll do. But, if he only does that.
I'll tell you one thing, Clive. As much as people are, salivating over his finishing, especially that second goal, I think you've got to appreciate his defensive work as well. At one point, He legged it all the way back. Cruyff turned his way out of a defensive position and got us on the move. I've never seen that.
That's the fearlessness of youth. That'll get knocked out of him by League One opponents over the season. The thing is, though, my entire view of this is one of a humanity. The lad's a young person. It's his first chance to play senior football. By now, he'll have invested 10 or more years of his young life developing his game, him and his parents and his host club. And to get a break at League One and to have such a cracking half of a game, nobody will ever take that off him. He'll never forget his first taste of pro football. And he'll always have an affection for Mansfield Town because of that. And I'm really chuffed. His parents were in the crowd, and his sister, and I don't know his girlfriend, but there was a little clan of them there. And I was so chuffed for the lad.
What is the collective noun for a clan of Irows? Is it, I don't know, I sailed? I don't know.
Spurs fans.
Odd.
Podge. It was a decent performance from him, to be fair, Alan. And I think also as well, it sort of, like people have been saying in the comments, looked a little bit like a Reso sort of character. It brought out the best in them as well. But what I was impressed with, as well as the defensive work, was how he understood the system. You know, if we're playing down the left-hand side, the right winger comes in. When we're playing down the right-hand side, and this was the proof in his first goal, if we're attacking down that right with Reese Oates, the left-hand side winger has got to come in and make that second striker. And he did exactly that and put the ball in the back of the net. And whilst he has set the bar high for himself and expectation through the roof from all the Stags fans, I can see him hopefully contributing a few more. But like anything else, it's remember the T's and the C's of loan players. Never fall in love with them. And with young loan players as well, just give them that little bit of time and patience to develop. Because like Clive said, it's his first taste of senior football. There's going to be ups as well as downs.
It's like we all said right at the beginning, just enjoy him while he's here. You know, if he plays 10 games, enjoy it. If he plays 20, if he plays to the end of the season, it could be a right find. And well done to Simon. I think it was, Nigel said it was Simon Clough that keeps going to the under-21s and spotted him. So fair play to Simon as well, because I think we've found a little bit of a gem. Let's hope it continues.
Yeah, absolutely. Plenty more to talk about tonight on the show for the fans, by the fans. Please continue to get your comments in the live feed as ever. Now, I want to just go a little bit away from football for just a second and be a little bit semi-serious. You may have followed Nathan on social media, and you'll have seen his news over the last few days or so about his operations that he's got to have. Having both of his eyes removed because he's been in a lot of pain with his eyes at the moment, and just wanted to wish him all the very best. He was due to be on the podcast tonight. He couldn't make it, unfortunately. He was due to be with us on Sunday for the birthday bowling, but again couldn't make it, unfortunately, because he's been in a lot of pain. And we just wanted to share that message to everyone out there that whilst you might not see Nathan on the podcast for a few weeks, he'll be on when he feels comfortable enough to be on, and when he feels well enough to be on. He is always going to be a part of Mansfield Matters, and we wish him all the very best. And he will continue to have an influence on all things Mansfield Matters by creating all of those little... I mean, some say not genius. I say genius AI-generated things. And what a perfect segue to talk about some news that's been positive this week off of the pitch. I don't know who I'm talking about, though. Who could it be that I'm talking about?
Dave, that's my defender. Dave, never surrender. That's my defender. Never surrender. Dave's the reason we stay strong. Been holding it down all season long. In my heart, I know the truth. This is more than just a game we play. This is love for Dave's way. Deji Ashalaja, but we call him Dave.
Officially endorsed by Dave. That's AI generated track from Nathan. Head over to Nathan's questionable AI generated YouTube channel to hear more great hits like that. Jordan Bowery, the Bishop Street Stand, and his latest release, all about Oliver Irow. Thank me later. Anyway, let's talk all things Dave, Jim, because he's signed a new contract until 2028. Fantastic news.
Brilliant news, yeah. There's nothing really more to say on that. He's one of the players you want to tie down, isn't he? And I think, what is he, 32, 33? So I think he'll be good for the sort of type of athlete he is. He'll be good for that contract in playing in defence. But he's not the only one. I want to get sort of Liam Roberts tied down to a longer deal if we can, and people like that, you know. So at the very least, we'll get a good fee for them if they do move on. But no, it's brilliant. You look at the spine of the team and the core of the squad that's tied down contractually now. It's looking very, very positive, I think. And we're moving in the right direction. We're on the right rails as a club, I think, football-wise.
Yeah, we certainly are, Clive. And, you know, like we were sort of mentioning earlier, not only does he bring that calmness, that steadiness to us in the back line, he's also got that little bit of experience. He can step in and play defensive midfield if we needed him to, or can play potentially higher up. And being a leader as well, it's just nice to have that settledness in there, and knowing that we can always, you know, rely on him. And he endorses Nathan's song, so you know he embraces Dave. But just by the way, just to clarify that, by endorsing Nathan's Dave, That's My Defender song, that means he officially endorses the use of Dave.
I have to say, when I sit in the Ian Greaves lower, nearly everybody calls him Dave now. I don't think they understand why, but they're all calling him Dave. I need Alan to do it on a couple of occasions down his bugle.
I will pay good money for that. But Alan, name your price. Just once, name your price.
But the thing is that what he is a dependable player. I mean, he has his odd bad session. Every player does, and he's not particularly prone to injury. And I've just said something I should never have said. You know what's going to happen now. But he's a stalwart, and you need that. And you know, therefore, you can build things around him. Much the same way that I thought we were going to build around Kilgore. But that didn't work out because of his injury and what have you. And interestingly, I mean, I'm sure you're going to talk about it later, but I think Sweeney starts to show his mettle now. His last half a dozen games, he's really contributed. And it makes you feel so much more adventurous when you know you've got a back line that's doing its job.
I think the thing with that as well, Alan, is, you know, talking about the Dave and Sweeney sort of situation there. They've played with each other before. It's taken a bit of time for them to get to know each other again, because they've obviously gone their separate ways and developed and things like that. But, you know, the way that they will play with each other, and then you throw other players like Bailey Cargill and stuff into the mix, it's great. And then you saw a little bit on... you know, on Saturday, for example, Bailey Cargill gets booked. He's one of the casualties at halftime when we go to a back four, and it just sits being Dave and Sweeney as centre backs. And, you know, it works. And having that long-term commitment is something that Nigel Clough has done throughout his tenure as Mansfield manager. And he's doing it again and again and again. He likes to build those squads and you know, really just, you know, cement those foundations going forward, and getting Dave penned down to a new contract is exactly what we wanted to see.
It is, and it's no excuse for the way Sweeney played when he first came in, because we just don't think he was playing. How many times did we say right and two left footers? I know he puts Bailey on the left hand side, but you've mainly got Sweens and Dave. I mean, obviously when he went off because he was booked in the second half, didn't come out for the second half, you just got the right footed player and the left footed, and it just works. Mansfield Town have proved that in the past. You know, when we've had Hewitt to play there at side of Bailey Cargill, you've got to have that. You can't have two, or you can't have two right or two left. It just doesn't seem to work for whether it's Stags or anybody, I don't think. And they like to play, you know, alongside each other. It's proved that, and it's doing in the world a good, Sweeney, because he said in his interview, you know, it didn't start particularly well, but he's feeling that he's coming into his game now, and only time on the pitch can help that, Craig.
Yeah, absolutely it can. And again, just sort of on that a little bit, that whole left foot, right foot thing, it's like when you've got the TV remote and you're messing about with the volume. We all know it's got to be on an even number. Anyone that has it on an odd number is an absolute psychopath. And that is fact. I will challenge any of you to say that I'm wrong. Obviously, there's been some other news this week, Jim, and that is some outgoings. A couple of young players have gone out on loan today, but one of the major ones, you referenced it earlier in the show, was Owen Mason wasn't on the bench against Port Vale, and we've subsequently let him go out on loan for the rest of the season to National League side Southend United, which means for the rest of the season, we probably won't have a goalkeeper on the bench. And I think this is going to make for an interesting debate from us reading between the lines, Jim. I think you're not massively happy about this.
Oh, just before that, Craig, I can hear you, but I can't hear Clive and Alan when they're talking. I don't know if you muted them on my...
No, you don't need to hear them, do you? You just need to hear me.
Right. Well, yeah, it's a strange one. As I say, he described Saturday as the most important game of the season, and he didn't have a keeper on the bench. What if Roberts had got sent off after 5 minutes? You know, I just think it's one little incident and it blows right up in his face. I'm sure someone will come in. And I was when I saw the team sheet on Saturday before the game, I thought, well, there'll be a keeper on the bench. Surely that's just a typo. I couldn't believe it when there wasn't. I couldn't believe it. I just thought, yeah. I like Clough, don't get me wrong, but he does some things you think, what is he doing? And but hey-ho, I'm sure someone will come in. I mean, even if it's just Nunes, at least he's a specialist goalkeeper with some kind of clue what he's supposed to be doing. And as far sooner Nunes would come on than any of our outfield players have a go. And, you know, it's just a strange one. And I'm sure someone will come in like a Scott Flindersy type experienced type keeper. And I don't think it should be an oversight. I think that's a serious thing that we need to fulfil if we're serious about being serious. How many times I can say seriously there? But yeah, it's a strange one. I don't think I've ever seen that before, to be honest.
What you might need to do, Jim, by the way, on the older audio thing, if you genuinely can't hear Alan and Clive, is you might need to leave and then come back in because we can hear them when they're chatting. So you might need to do that a little bit. So whilst I let you do that, Alan, just want to pick up on that a little bit because again, reading between the lines with what Nigel Clough has sort of been saying, I think he's just he seems happy enough to go with 9 outfielders, and if anything does happen to Liam Roberts, one of them will go in goal for a game, and then we'll work on it after that. That seems to be what he's going for, doesn't it?
Yeah, it seems to be that way, and I just can't help feeling somewhere along the line, you know, probably at training, because I mean that's where they see all these sort of things. Somebody's produced, you know, his goalkeeping skills or whatever you want to call it. You know, somebody has said, "I'll load my hand up if providing I'm playing, you know, or if I'm playing, I can drop in goal. It's something that I can do." I just think somewhere along the line that's happened for Nigel to, you know, go down that route. And like Jim said, either Nunes or if Adam Collin was registered, I wouldn't have a problem with that either. But, you know, it is a risk. But it's a risk worth taking.
Yeah, it certainly is a risk worth taking for me, Clive. Where do you sit on the situation, Clive? Because surely we're going to have protected ourselves with a recall clause. And if we haven't, like Alan's mentioned there, potentially register Adam Collin, there's probably lots of 38 to 40-year-old goalkeepers out there that would be willing to pick up a bit of a paycheck to do sod all, or, you know, it's a risk, but sometimes you've got to take risks, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm old enough to remember when you only had one substitute. It was never, ever a goalkeeper. So there was always the risk that your keeper might get injured or sent off, and therefore you took that risk on the chin and said, well, who's going to go in? Who's going to take the jumper off the goalkeeper if he's not playing? I mean, in my day, it was always Kevin Bird, but it doesn't happen very often. So it's a risk calculation, isn't it? And Clough's playing it. I'll tell you what, if he does it for a couple of weeks, you watch other managers doing the same thing.
Well, you think Clough's going to be a trendsetter?
I think he's going to be ahead of the curve. I know Jim doesn't agree, but I mean, if you've got a huge bench of players, you can afford to have one designated goalkeeper. I accept that, but I can see the argument from both ends of the pipe, really.
What were you saying, Jim?
Well, what happens if Roberts gets sent off after 5 minutes?
I'm gonna show you what happens. What happens if Roberts gets sent off in 5 minutes in just a couple of seconds time. Just bear with. This is live production happening on the Mansfield Matters podcast, because we've had something ready and waiting for this scenario for years. And I appreciate, Jim, you're probably not going to be able to see this because you're on your phone and it's a small screen. But for ladies and gentlemen at home, this is Nigel Clough's master plan.
I can see that.
Listen,
It looks like the little lad next door in his pajamas.
listen, we all know that Jordan Bowery has played absolutely everywhere for Mansfield, apart from in goal. And if you remember back to the promotion season, when we got promoted, in the dressing room, Steve-O was asking all sorts of questions. And one of the questions he asked was, what would you like from the rest of the season? Jordan Bowery definitively said, in the dressing room, I'm going to ask the gaffer if I can play in goal at Barrow, even if it's for 10 minutes. So I'm telling you now, the backup goalkeeper option is this man. It looks great. I'm for it. I'm all for Jordan Bowery in goal.
I think you've all been smoking something, to be honest.
He's got to get fit first.
You don't have to be fit to be a keeper.
Stand there, innit? Stand there.
Just remember what our goalkeeper did last season and how many points we probably lost because of his drop-off in form. Imagine if we got someone in there who doesn't know what they're doing. But it could end up relegating us.
Well, there you go. Look, I think you just, in this situation, Jim, I think you just, and I'm saying this as one of the most pessimistic people on the planet. I think you're being too negative. I think you're being too pessimistic. And do you know what? In 2 weeks' time, if Liam Roberts is injured or suspended, I'll doff my cap to you and I'll apologise. But I think this one's the risk we're taking for me.
How much do you think it takes? He could slip over in the shower. Anything. And break his foot or ankle and be out for 3 months. It's that easy. I know you can get emergency loan keepers, but by God, what are we? An aspirational League One team or dog and duck? The Sunday League pub team. I just find it incredible. I'll never be on board with it. I'll never be on board. Perhaps it is negative, but I can't get on board with it.
Jim, there's one question I want to ask you. Right?
Go on.
Surely, in the back of your mind somewhere, you would love to see one Mansfield game, where the goalkeeper is a number 9 and has number 9 on the back of a goalie shirt.
On the training pitch, yeah.
No. On the actual pitch in League One, iconic image, like if shot from behind the north stand, the netting just says Bowery 9 on the back, and he's got the gloves on. I think it'd be iconic.
No. It'd be a circus. Come on, they'd be shooting from everywhere. We'd lose. We'd be throwing away points, and it just make him look stupid. Make the manager look stupid.
Personally, Alan, I think Jim's forgotten what magic Jordan Bowery has within his bones.
I think there'll be a plan in place somewhere along the line.
There is a plan in place. I've told you what the plan is. This the plan is this. Nigel Clough sent me this image. I've not made this. Nigel Clough sent it.
It's not quite fit yet, is it? That's the thing.
Oh dear! Rumor has it it's been seen putting the gloves on and on the training ground. Oh dear! Oh dear! Oh dear! Right. This is the thing though, Clive. Right? It's not just me trying to hype up and make a joke out of the situation. Look at the comments. People want to see Bowery in goal.
I'd like to see him in goal when we're 4 or 5 up. Not so sure I want to start it.
2 minutes left.
But I mean, listen, everybody needs a reason for a good old grump, and Jim's got one, and I've got a grump. I don't like to see outfield players wearing gloves. I think it's
Barry.
Yeah, but what about goalie gloves, Clive? Would you like to see an outfield player
back
wearing
in the
goalie
day,
gloves?
keepers didn't wear gloves.
Bowery
When we won the World Cup, Gordon Banks didn't wear gloves. Keepers didn't.
I mean, Bowery in the middle of our goal's it's got a ring to it, Al. That's all I'm saying. I could spend the whole podcast talking about Jordan Bowery as a goalkeeper. However, we will move swiftly on. We're going to take a break in just a question. We're going to take a break in just a minute. But first, I've got to answer a question. There we go. It's coming from Chris. Now, I usually would cover this towards the back end of the show when it comes to podcast predictions. And I will recover it then. But however, it's been asked, so I will answer it. Quick question. Me and my dad both predict. He already put a prediction in for Saturday, but would like to change it. Can he redo his pick, or will it not count? Up the Stags. He can redo it as many times as he likes up until 90 minutes before kickoff. And the one which will be counted as the one which is points scored on will be the one which is closest to the deadline. So you can do it 1,000,001 times, and it'll be the one that's taken closest to 90 minutes before kickoff. I hope that answers your question. Right, I'm going to take a quick break and get on the phone to Nigel Clough and see if Jordan Bowery's been training in the middle of our goal. In the meantime, we'll see you after these.
Protect what matters most with Actifire Limited.
Your trusted local fire safety experts in Nottinghamshire. Proud sponsors of the Mansfield Matters Podcast. From fire extinguishers and alarms to emergency lighting, pat testing and risk assessments, they've got everything you need for your business to stay safe. Affordable, reliable, professional. Because when it comes to fire protection, there's no room for compromise. Call Actifire Limited today or visit actifire.co.uk. Be ready, be safe, act now. Actifire Limited, proud sponsors of the Mansfield Matters Podcast.
We're the Mansfield Matters crew, making podcasts just for you. Some show up, some disappear, but the Stags bring us all here. Through the ups and downs we stay, talking Mansfield Town every day.
You're back with the show for the fans, by the fans. Why? Because Mansfield always matters. Right, let's move on, shall we? And have a look at all things league table. Because again, having beaten Port Vale on Saturday, our winning streak continued. And it's made for quite interesting reading when it comes to the league table, Alan. 4 points from the playoffs with 3 games in hands, 6 points from the drop zone, having played 1 game more, 22 games left to play, potentially more with postponements and maybe dare we dream about another FA Cup round and all of that sort of thing in there as well. Lots more football to be played for sure. But I think we teeter on what could happen in the second half of the season. Having looked at it, have expectations for you changed looking at the league table and looking at the bit of form we've been on? Or is there always that little thing in the back of the mind that says that Nigel Clough is a very runs-based manager and all it will take is one flip of the coin?
I'm just saying, like I said at the start of the season, let's get to 50 points and let's see what takes us from there. Get those 50 points solid first, and then we can either dream or, we can sweat a little bit, but get the 50 points first. That's me.
Jim, I want to get your take on this early because you were when we were talking about the Jordan Bowery situation, you were like, are we a serious League One team or are we dog and duck? So where do your expectations sit? Could we get through to the playoffs with Jordan Bowery in goal?
No. Well, look,
I'm gonna get him.
My last comment on that is just remember what Liam Roberts has done this season. Where would we be without his contribution? So if she had an amateur in net, where would we be? So anyway, the league table is still very, very tight, isn't it? I just think we are one bad run away from being sucked right back down. However, I think the squad plus a substitute goalkeeper is more than capable of staying up. And I think we're not ready for the championship, so I'd forget the playoffs. I think a good healthy target is just to any top half finish. 12th, 11th, 10th, something like that. I think we'd mark a good healthy finish, good improvement on last year, and I think that's a good stepping stone to another bit of building in the summer, and then perhaps have a crack at top 6 properly next year. There's no point thinking about going up till we're ready, and I think just a solid mid-table finish for me.
What about you, Clive? Because I think there's varying ways to look at it. Like you say, 4 points from the playoffs, 6 as it stands from the drop zone. League One is incredibly tight this season, as we've seen. For me, it's about gathering momentum and building into next season. I see this season almost like the year that we missed out on the playoffs by 1 goal on goal difference. It's about gathering that momentum to go into the next year. But what about you? Am I being over ambitious, under ambitious?
I think there's an excuse for being both. We have a very tight league. We are just as capable of finding ourselves in the scramble at the bottom as we are in the optimistic scramble at the top. Having said that, I'm a pragmatist. I don't think we should be stretching ourselves too far this season. I don't think we're quite ready. But, if we win at Stevenage and then at Plymouth, you just taste the atmosphere change. There'll be people, playoffs will be the only thing they'll be concerned about. So I think, like everybody else, I think I'll be happy with top half security. But don't be surprised if we don't, start a little charge. And we've got players coming back.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I think for me, Jim, though, it's more about the pressure that comes with us. I quite enjoy not having the pressure. I'm very comfortable with where we're at the minute in terms of the league table. I'm very comfortable with our results. I know we've got players to come back into the mix, which will change the dynamic a little bit. But playing without pressure, I think, makes League One life enjoyable for me, because last season, we had that fantastic start. We gathered a load of momentum and all of this, and we were sort of settling in well. And then we had that almighty crash when we lost League Gregory, and it was clear that our legs had ran the course a little bit too much. This year, it feels like we learned a little bit. We've obviously brought in a load of new players, and we've settled in some new boys in January as well. Maybe one or two more to come, which again changes the dynamic. But not having that pressure on our shoulders, I think, makes it a little bit more enjoyable this year. And what it's doing, it's giving us a good footing for going forward for me.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's psychology is massive in sport, isn't it? And we're a small fish in this pond anyway. And I think we're off the radar, aren't we, in terms of the favourites for promotion or anything, or even playoffs. I don't think anyone really talks about Stags. So yeah, I think you got a point there. And we didn't have a fantastic start, did we? We've been in and around the relegation fight in spells, so it's like we've got a run going. It's like, well, I've got to lose now. I think we're in a good space mentally, and yeah, I think you're right. And Claire's right as well. We've got players coming back, and when all our players are available, we can give anybody a game. And yeah.
Now, some people, it's been known in a previous life that I'm not that bad at actually editing audio clips together. And see, what Jim's just done there is, unbeknown to him, Alan, fallen into a trap where he said the words, "I think you're right." So what I could potentially do here is go, Jim, I don't know about you, but I think Jordan Bowery should play in goal for Mansfield.
Yeah, just be careful what you say, Jim.
Anybody who knows me will know it'll be an AI thing, because they know how I feel.
Do I look AI?
I don't know. I can't tell.
Listen, Jim, I'm going to do myself a disservice now, right? AI stands the I in AI stands for intelligence. What's intelligent about this?
Don't judge a book by its cover, Craig.
Too kind, Jim. Too kind. Stop it. Stop flirting. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Plymouth and Stevenage. We'll come on to those in just a second. But yeah, Alan, I think it's about that pressure, isn't it? Like Chris says in the comments, big difference for me. We went early in the transfer window. Jim's right. Nobody fancies us. We've done our business early. We've not waited, which was a massive mistake for us last time out. And we seem to just be sort of gearing up, don't we? Just slowly building.
Especially when Nigel alluded in his interview that...
By the way, I've not got... I need to find a pen, so carry on talking.
He wanted to get 9/10 people in the current squad, signed up for a little bit longer, which obviously he sees is looking at the longer picture, which is good. If he still wants to carry on being Mansfield Town manager, if we get a top half finish this year, add to the squad, to the ones who's already signed up, or get a few gems. And who knows, next year, we could be knocking on the door. But like Marie said in the comments, Championship, are we ready for it, and could we afford it?
Yeah, I think the answer there is no. Whilst it would be a phenomenal ride, I think it would be one of those which would ultimately come back and bite us on the backside over the next 5-10 years or so. But hey ho, that's the beauty of football, isn't it, Clive? And we are in this position, and let's be honest, like Nigel Clough said in his comments, at 2-0 down on Boxing Day after 20 minutes, none of us thought we'd be having this conversation now, did we, Clive?
No, it's been phenomenal since then. And the fact is, we've scored a lot of goals by our standards. And to pick up on Jim's point, the points we've managed to save because of some superb goalkeeping, we are, we've turned a corner. Whether we can stay on that road now remains to be seen. He looks like, I tell you what he looks like, an Indian cricketer.
And on that note, let's move swiftly on to podcast predictions, shall we?
The game of luck, who gives up, don't mess it up. I hear you say, how do you play? Win, lose or draw, then pick a score and one more thing. Pick a hero, don't score zero, that's the game. But we're not fools, this game has rules. It gets on time, you'll be fine, remember the rhyme. Best predictions. Best predictions. Remember the rhyme. Guess on time, you'll be fine. Remember the rhyme. The best predictions.
Right, time for podcast predictions then. And for match 24, 8 people predicted a 3-0 victory, but the winner that week, as they chose Stephen McLaughlin as their fantasy captain with 28 points, was Dave S. Well done, Dave. However, again, not remembering this whole picking the same player twice thing. 3 people fell foul to the -5 for picking the same fancy player, including our Nathan. Overall, the table is as follows. I'm in 5th place with 250 points. Dave S., thanks for winning that week, is on 252 points in 4th. Olivia Wilson is leading the pack of the Wilsons, but she's in 3rd with 266. Chris Vincent on 272 in 2nd, and Matt Piercy still out in front, but the gap is narrowing. 284 he has on the table. In the Mansfield Matters League, I'm top. It's Clive in 2nd on 236 and Jim in 3rd. And by the way, if you're wondering how many fancy points players would have got you on Saturday, Oliver Irow and Stephen McLaughlin were the best picks with 13 each. Reese Oates got you 10. Sweeney got you 9. Evans got you 8. Lewis, Dave and Liam Roberts got you 7. Lewis Reed got you 4. Luke Bolton got you 3. Akins and Russell would have got you 2. Big Vic would have got you 1, as would of Bailey Cargill, Regan Hendry, and Little Nobby Welsh, -5 if you picked anybody else or picked the same player as the previous game. Right, 2 games to predict this week then. First up, it is the trip to Stevenage on Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock kickoff in that one. Jim, you're up first.
A 3-1 win. I'm going to go Luke Bolton.
Alan.
1-0 win, Will Evans.
Clive.
2-1 win, Roberts.
And I am going to go for a 2-0 win. And I'm going to go for Ryan Sweeney because I think he's going to score. Because, Alan, there's a little bit of Sweeney sibling rivalry on Saturday, isn't there?
It is against his older brother. Yeah. Or is it? I think it's the older brother who plays for Stevenage, isn't it?
It is, yeah. He's Dan Sweeney, also a centre back. So play at opposite ends of the pitch to each other, but so won't see each other too much in the game, except for set pieces. So one Sweeney is going to score on Saturday, and it's going to be our Sweeney, which is why I've gone for him. Let's go the opposite way round then, and of course it's Plymouth on Tuesday night. Terribly long way to go. I can't recall us ever doing well down at Plymouth. 425 Stags fans, maybe more on the day, are actually going to go, one of which, as we said earlier, is Clive. And I think they're going to witness a 1-1 draw and a superb performance from Mr. Reese Oates. Alan, what do you think?
2-0 win, Reese Oates.
Jim?
1-1. Sweeney.
And Clive, you're going to be the man that's there. So what are you going to witness?
I'm going to witness another victory, 2-1, and my hero is going to be Mr. Oates.
So we've almost gone for a clean sweep of Oates there on Tuesday night. As ever, if you want to get involved, you can do so via the link that is in the description. And a reminder that you must submit your guesses no later than 90 minutes before kickoff. However, you can change your guess as many times as you want. It's just the latest time-stamped guess, which will be taken by Ben, our podcast predictions guru, 90 minutes before each selected game. And a reminder, you can't pick the same player 2 games in a row. Now, for some people out there, today will be bin day. And for 3 people on this podcast, today is also bin day. Segue, nailed it.
Alan, where's your bin? Alan, where's your bin? Alan, where is your bin? Alan, where's your bin? Alan, where's your bin? Alan, where is your bin? Alan, where's your bin? Alan, where's your bin? Alan, where is your bin? Alan, where's your bin? Alan, where's your bin? Alan, where is your bin?
Yes, it's fast becoming the best feature on this podcast. Alan, where's you been? Let's get him. Let's get the right background on for Alan, where's you been? Shall we? There he is, top and centre. If you've not played this game before, it's quite simple. Alan Wilson has got a football team in mind. He will give us 5 clues as to who that team is. If we get it right after the first guess, it's 5 points, then 4, then 3, and so on and so on. We all guess after Alan has each done his answer, and Alan will pick who he wants to go first each time. So, Alan Wilson, it's over to you to find out, where is your bin?
It'll go in this order this week: Craig Priest, Jim, and Clive. That's the order. And question 1, I've gone for the anagram first this week, and the anagram is Stag died from BR. So that's Stag, S-T-A-G, died, D-I-E-D, from F-R-O-M, and the letters B-R.
Is this the stadium, Al?
Yes, this one is. Yeah, it's it's where the team play. It is an actual team that I'm on about, but this is the stadium. Yes.
Okay. Stag died from BR.
Got it.
All right. Hold on then, Clive. Just a minute. Let the others have a go. You could have 5 points here, Clive.
It could well be on for 5 points. I will go for. I know I'm wrong. I'm going to guess Blackpool.
No. Jim.
It's got some stadium in it. I think Sunderland. I don't think it's right though.
No. Clive.
It's Stamford Bridge.
Correct.
Oh, well done, Clive.
5 points to Clive.
Oh,
Hey.
there you go.
Quality, Clive. Yeah.
Oh, I absolutely love it. Well done, Clive. Alan, you might as well rattle through the other clues. Just you put all this work in.
The second clue was going to be a Mansfield Town player went to this club in 1988 for 250,000.
Kevin Hitchcock.
Correct. Third clue would have been their attendance this season is 39,700. The fourth clue would have been pensioners, the Chelsea pensioners, and the fifth clue would have been the nicknamed the Blues.
Well, there you go. That was a very short and sweet edition.
Alan, where's your bin? Alan, where's your bin? Alan, where is your bin? Alan, where's your bin? Alan, where's your bin? Alan, where is your bin? Alan, where's your bin? Alan, where's your bin? Alan, where is your bin? Alan, where's your bin? Alan, where's your bin? Alan, where is your bin?
And we'll have more Alan Where's You Been next time Alan Wilson is on the podcast. It's always a delight to play Alan Where's You Been. Right, that is almost all we've got time for on tonight's podcast. It's going to be a busy couple of days for us, Jim. Obviously, lots of miles to be put on the clock for Nigel Clough and his boys as well. But can we maintain the good form that we've been on, or will the good ship Mansfield hit rough waters?
No, I think the momentum and the form we've got, I'd like to think we'll at least not lose over the next 2 games. I don't think any of us have predicted a defeat. And even if we just get 2 draws, I think that's 2 good points. I think the way we're playing, I think there's a lot more to come. And I think we're going to a bit more of this purple streak to come, I think.
A lot of confidence we can take from those games, Clive, and it is going to be a real test of character for us now, isn't it? These next couple of games, especially away from home, particularly Plymouth. That is a nasty one from the fixture computer, isn't it?
It is, but whenever you go to Plymouth, it's the same distance. It just happens to be a Tuesday night. The reality is the team gets well looked after when it's travelling away from home, and they'll be there, the day before, as indeed I will. But Jim's right. We have no reason not to be optimistic. And I like him. I'd settle for a point from each game because I think that's building. But the momentum we've built over the last 5 games should mean something. We've not got any serious injuries in addition to what were already there. We've got some players who are coming in with points to prove, and we're scoring goals. So I think we should be optimistic.
Another thing, Alan, as well, is we've got plenty of players to pick from. Does Oliver Irow get his first full start, or does Nigel Clough stick with what he had? It's a bit of an interesting one, Stephen. It can be a tight picture sometimes, and they're a rough team to play against as well.
I think Nigel will do his homework, so to speak, and check what sort of how they play. Whether he plays the 4 at the back or at the 5 at the back. If he plays 4, obviously, I think Nobby Welsh might have to sit this one out and he might drop Russell. And I can't see Irow coming on, apart from the bench. But also the good news, Regan Hendry was on the bench and came on. And Tyler Roberts is back on the grass this week. So it's all looking positive.
It is. And in case you've got any fears, Jim, about what might happen on Saturday over the goalkeeper situation, well, I've got a gift from Mr. Nathan Edge and me to you. It's this.
Clough, I've got a question. Hope you've got the time. Been thinking about my role, trying to make it mine. One day I'm up front, chasing every ball. Next day at the back, standing proud and tall. I'm here 1 more year, so listen up. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none, but I'll play anywhere just for the fun. Put me where you need me, I won't complain, 'cause every fucking position feels just the same. Monday on the wing, crossing with delight. Tuesday center back, keeping shit tight. Wednesday in midfield, running box to box. Thursday up front again, Fox in the box. Hey, Capper, got a minute? I'm a jack of all trades, master of none, but I'll play anywhere just for the fun. Put me where you need me, I won't complain, 'cause every fucking position feels just the same. 5 years at this club, giving all I've got. Sometimes even I forget what's my proper spot. The fans, they sing my name wherever I may roam. Every blade of grass here feels like home. But there's one place left, give me that role. See what your boy Bowery can do in that goal. So here's the thing, boss, I've been thinking deep. about that sacred space between the posts to keep. I played everywhere else, done it with a smile. Let me guard those nets, even for a while. Come on, Gaffer! I'm a jack of all trades, master of none, but I'll play anywhere just for the fun. Put me where you need me, I won't complain, 'cause every fucking position feels just the same. Just let me play in goal, Gaffer.
I mean, it is absolutely genius. I think Jordan Barry's got a point, and more to the point, Nathan, get well soon, my friend. We are all with you. Mansfield always matters, and creations like that absolutely show why. And the beauty of it was just watching Jim's face all the way through that, because he absolutely hated it. And I'm going to steal his phone. I'm going to put it as his ringtone, and I'm definitely going to clip up the bit earlier in the show where he said, "Craig, you're absolutely right." And I'm going to stitch that together with the question. Jim, Jordan Barry should play in goal on Saturday, shouldn't he? He's not having absolutely any of it. Right, that's all we've got time for. We will see you next time.
See ya.
Sadly, that's all we've got time for on tonight's Mansfield Matters podcast. My thanks as ever to the Mansfield Matters podcast panel, and of course to you guys at home for watching and for listening. A reminder to play along with podcast predictions if you wish to do so. The link that you need is in the description. And you must submit your guesses no later than 90 minutes before your selected game. And to emphasise the point again, you can't pick the same player 2 games in a row, otherwise we will penalise you with points. We'll be back at some point next week. Make sure you follow us on all things social media to find out when. And before we sign off tonight, just once again, to send our best wishes to our Nathan. We are with you, my friends. We'll hope to welcome you back very, very soon indeed. For now, though, that's all we've got time for. This is the show for the fans, by the fans. Why? Because Mansfield always matters. Good night. Safe trip to Plymouth if you're going on Tuesday night. Long way.
Protect what matters most with Actifier Limited, your trusted local fire safety experts in Nottinghamshire. Proud sponsors of the Mansfield Matters podcast. From fire extinguishers and alarms to emergency lighting, pat testing and risk assessments, they've got everything you need for your business to stay safe. Affordable, reliable, professional. Because when it comes to fire protection, there's no room for compromise. Call Actifier Limited today or visit actifier.co.uk. Be ready, be safe, act now. Actifier Limited, proud sponsors of the Mansfield Matters podcast.